here on Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. You're welcome to the program HerLens, where we discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues right here on Women Radio. Yes, HerLens comes to you Mondays to Friday from 9:05 a.m. Just after the news, we get to come up on HerLens. And of course, we get to talk about different issues. Okay. Now, yesterday we were able to touch on the issue of the mother, a mother rather, who came out to, um, you know, um, what's the word I was used right now? Who came out to actually um, lament to us, yeah, about the state at which her son is, being in the military. And I'm guessing he called her and they had a conversation, and she, got really emotional as regards to some of the things that, her son is facing being a soldier in the forest, so he's part of those who are trying to keep us safe, doing their best, to keep us safe. And maybe some of the things that he related to her were not just going down well with her. And, it was just a lot emotionally for her and to other women too who are hearing. Imagine that you have a son who is in the bush, fighting all of this. You don't know whether he's coming back alive. You don't even know if he's okay. Has he eaten? Has he even had his bath? How? You don't even know anything about his welfare. So we got to talk about that yesterday. And today, of course, we'll be moving on to talk about other issues. And I promise that we'll be looking at the issue of the bullying case, that happened in the Igbenedion Secondary School in Edo State. Now, that is just, maybe a reflection of what's happening in a lot of schools. And let's not forget that we've talked about this in so many ways. Can we remember the case of what's the young man's name, young boy's name who died, or somebody of Omori or so, who died as a result of this? Maybe that's what he faced, in his school, and that led to his death at a very young age. So a lot of these things actually go on unchecked in school. So are we saying that the parents, no, the teachers, the guardians don't see this, they don't know about this? So it actually calls for a lot of attention to be, given to that aspect of our schools or our education sector. Anyway, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, and of course, it's about 10 minutes after 9 right here. And this is the program HerLens. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and this morning I have Buki Femi Ajala joining me. Hi, Buki. Good morning. How are you today?
Yes, Bookie is fine. Bookie is doing great, and I want to thank God for that. Yes, so and how is our Lens family also doing? Very well. Yeah, I'm using my mobile mobile device, but very soon I'll switch to the laptop. Yeah.
That's fine. Your
God.
hair looks nice.
Thank
Let's start with that.
you. Thank you. Yeah. Quite
Okay,
a
so
vacation.
if you want to see us or what we look like, please go ahead, go to YouTube, join the conversation, and you get to watch us live from wherever you are. All right, get to listen to us by downloading our mobile app. Go to Google Play Store or Apple Store at Women Radio WFM 91.7. Download it and of course get to listen to us, or go to our website www.wfm917.com to get to listen live to us from any part of the world. All right, so let's get to hear from Ibinabo this morning. Good morning, Ibinabo. How are you today? Hi, Ibinabo. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now loud and clear.
Good morning. I think we are going to make do without the video so that you can hear me better. Good morning.
Network, Abi. No, wala.
So send network to Samson and not answer me. No wala. Good morning, Lady Rose. Good morning, Lady Buki FA. Good morning to all the ladies out there and all the gentlemen out there. It's great to be here. Thank you.
All right, it's good to have you here. I feel like saying now you will go give the assignment, make a send the network reach there. All right, so that's the voice of Ibinabo this morning, and she will definitely be joining us on the conversation this morning. All right, so do want to be a part of it by dialing 07000 917 917. do well to also go ahead and send in your WhatsApp messages to 070 317 56537 or 08155 917 917. Those are the numbers to get in touch with us this morning on the program HerLens. All right, let's go ahead and start up with the conversation that we are going to look at today because it's worrisome. It is worrisome. I can just imagine what the mother or the parents of those children that were bullied are going through. Now, even the ones who bullied other students, what's going on in their minds? Is it that these children were not showing, this kind of signs in their homes? Is it that they didn't see these children as didn't they see the tendency of them what is happening in our homes and in schools too? Do these things actually go unchecked, or what exactly is going on? So it's actually a lot. Although the Edo State government has said it is looking into it, investigating into the matter. The boys have been expelled from the school. Who did this? And from previous videos that we later saw, even after this came up, we could see this particular person, this particular bully, has been doing this. Not just this is not just the beginning. So he has been, involved in different cases of bullying. In fact, there's a video I saw yesterday, and in the video, they were saying that, oh, this is not the first time that this boy is going to be, is he suspended? Now he's been expelled from the school. But I think he's been suspended on some occasions because of this. So, so there's a lot going on. In the video, we could see parents coming out to actually shame, the boy. But at the end of the day, it's just one was saying, but about two or three of them were actually, the bullies in the videos we saw. So why this particular one? So I'm just hoping that the parents themselves, the family, came out to give a statement, apologizing, regretting the whole behavior and all of that. So yeah, it's just a lot going on. And like I said earlier, it not be the first time this will go sit down, they talk about bully for this case, for this program. A lot has actually gone when we want to look at the issue of bullying. So it's just a lot when we look at what's going on in some of our schools that are supposed to be, you know, good schools per se. Well, maybe it has nothing to do with the school being good or not. Maybe it has nothing to do with the school being good or not. But it's about the welfare of the children right now, because as far as we're concerned, they could be winning, academic prizes here and there. But inside the school itself, a lot is going on. So before I come to you, Buki, Susan, good morning. You're welcome to the show this Tuesday morning. Can you hear me,
Morning,
Susan?
Rose. Good
Okay.
morning, ma'am. Yes. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, ma'am. Buki, ma'am Ibinabo, HerLens family. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. It's good to be here.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Yes, you pay your fine to Buki. All right. So thank you, Susan, for joining us this morning. So Buki, please go ahead. Let's hear from you. Your thoughts about this particular bully case, because a lot has gone on when we want to look at bullying in different schools. And you know
Yeah.
what's Buki? Some of them will say, after all, should be they do one for us now. Make themselves go face them, or this our own seniors do them give us. So why we no go do and give our own juniors?
Well, like we normally say, seasons have changed. People are more aware, they're more informed, and the effect, particularly the effect of it. Now people are saying, oh, this was what happened to me, and this is what happened. I mentioned the angle of verbal bullying that,
Yeah.
that happened to a family member of mine when the grandfather asked him to shut up at a very young age. Shut up, you asked too many questions. And that silenced him. He got he got his deliverance when he was around 45. We had to go for counseling because anytime somebody says, shut up, he cringes and he goes back into his shell, even as a pastor. He had to go for counseling and all that. He shared his story. So now that people and now knowing the effect of it. That's why we have to talk about it. Yes. And when you talk about bullying, it's actually a repeated behavior. It could be by a person or it could be by a group of people, because some people will say, what is bullying? Let's talk about it. Let's understand where we are coming from today. Because many of us do it, but we do not know it's bullying, right? Where this person just wants to hurt somebody or intimidate somebody or embarrass somebody or even want to control somebody, right? Particularly those that they feel, these ones are weak, they cannot defend themselves, they want to lord it over them. And if you really look at it, there are causes of bullying. And I think this is where parents should really look at it. Do not raise a bully, right? It could be something that the child has learned from home. Many a times it's like that. Most of them, because what they see that aggression from somebody, either from the mother or from the or from the father. Yes, at times it's more from the father, but we also know some cases where the woman is the bully at home. You understand? So let's talk it. You're not helping the young one. And at times it could be the desire for power or control, and it could actually be a low self-esteem thing. You have this low self-esteem, you do not want to come out, to be vulnerable. What do? You try to, particularly when you see someone that you can you can booga, you can control, you try to do that. And of course, peer pressure, moving with the wrong set of people before you know what is happening is there. And then of course, we've also known about jealousy and competition can actually make this doing. So coming to this aspect, this I really feel sorry for the, should I even really feel sorry? I don't know. I feel concerned for the parents, because if report says that this is not the first time, that guy has to go for therapy, counseling, and also the parents should also check, where have I missed it? And we are saying this to all other parents too. If you know your child is a bully, you understand, I think you need to check that person before the checker checks him, right? Because now the checker don't check this one, no, he's been expelled. Though I know some people are saying that, is it just expelled? Now bully, let him go to a juvenile, correction center and all that. But can we begin to look at what can we do way forward? And then there are some parents, who actually put in that bullying flavor into their children. If I were you, I would have slapped the person. I would have done this. I would have done that. There's a thin line between that and you standing up for yourself. I come from that angle of, yes, you need to stand up, but hey, you need to know how to draw the line. Don't put the bully flavor into that. And then of course for schools, and I will use this I will use this last one to stop my engagement for now, so that others can also contribute, because I'm interested in the education is the two people that are with us here. And this is where schools also should have a safe environment for people. They know who these bullies are. I don't know why some schools refuse to do what they need to do to nip it in the bud. Many a times you find out that it is the parents that are sponsoring things, the money bags. So at times they try to cover these things. They should not. That is wrong. That is evil. That is injustice, to the children. And then of course to come up with, anti-bullying, policies. Let it be clear. If you bully this person, this is what will happen to you. And whoever, even if the person is the one sponsoring, you guys, because you will have told them, you will have told the students, you will have told the teachers, teachers as well, parents, even at the PTA, so that we don't have traumatized people. Because at the end of the day, the bullied also will be traumatized somehow. I like to stop here so that others can also contribute, because I'm really eager to hear what the educationists will do. But bullying is a serious matter, and families should take care of that. even from the home. Parents should stop bullying one another and should stop bullying the people that are very vulnerable, the house helps, the caregivers, their co-work, their workers. You know, because the children are seeing this and they say, okay, so this is the way life is. I want to come from it from that angle. And then of course, I've talked about the fact that at times, psychologically they have issues. So thank you very much. Yeah. Rose, your mic is muted. Your mic is muted.
Away. All right. So, I mean, it's a lot, and it goes deeper than what we see. It starts from somewhere. It goes deeper than what we see. It could be a psychological thing. It could be, a mental thing. It could just be somewhere where the parent just missed it, and that's it. Because how do you get up and think, oh, you are more superior than somebody, and you can just exercise your power on the person, and nobody's going to say anything about it? Hmm. Okay. All right. This is your Women Radio WFM 91.7 to 3 minutes after 9 on HerLens right here on Women Radio. All right. Do want to be a part of the program by dialing 07000 Also dial 09155 You can go ahead and send us WhatsApp messages to 0703 or 08155 So, Ibinabo will wrap this conversation up for us because I know that, as somebody who is in the education sector, will definitely have, quite a number of things to say on this and how we can do away with this in our schools, especially secondary schools. Um, Now, Susan, you also, are part of that sector, the education sector. Now, looking at this video, what are the things that came to your mind? And, from your own perspective, how do you think we can do away with this? Because let's not forget, here earlier I was trying to remember the young man's name. Sylvester is Oromoni. Instead, I was saying Omori. So yeah, Sylvester, who died in I think late 2021 or 2022, if I'm not mistaken, over school bullying. Now that's a case of one. And that one, he died as a result of that. Now, this one now, how far, can we actually push this probably junior students or students who are being bullied? Because at the end of the day, we have Sylvester who died out of this. So how many more could just say, you know what, I can't take this anymore? And before you know it, that's the end of it. And let's just hear your thoughts, on this, because a lot is going on in our secondary schools. Honestly, a lot is going on. Go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. So, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear it.
Okay. Thank you, Rose. Usually, any kind of video that, just triggers me, I don't watch it. But you see that particular video, I watched it, I rewatched it, and I watched it again. Watching how a few students were marching, stepping on a fellow student, and all of that. To state in clear terms that bullying is violence. Most times people trivialize bullying. They say boys are being boys. No. I am an advocate against all forms of violence. And so bullying is one of those things that comes under violence. Now, bullying is physical violence, which we clearly saw in that video. Bullying is psychological abuse, which we saw in that very video. Bullying is emotional trauma. And these things I have mentioned can lead to loss of confidence for a student. That is where you see students become withdrawn. They are in class, they are not functioning. Even some become school dropouts. They go home, they tell their parents they don't want to go to school, and it could lead to long-term mental health challenges. I'm trying to break it down so that even our listeners understand what bullying is. I also know that some children act innocent at home, but you'll be amazed at what they do when they step out of the house. Need to factor that in. Some children have this group of persons they interact with that, it transforms them. Even some parents are taken aback. They are wondering, is this really my child? And I did a research after watching this video a few days back. And one of the things I found out is that half of students, even from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, half of students acknowledge bullying as a common factor in Nigerian schools. This is just, there was video. So many are underreported. So many do not make it to social media. So this message does not need to end with those who can watch films, who can have Android phones and what have you, even those at the rural areas. You don't want to what happens within the school premises. Let's take the Child Rights Act, what the law says, because I had to go back to study to know what does it even say. The Child Rights Act clearly protects children from any form of abuse. That is it. And Section 11 speaks to rights to dignity. What we saw in that video, no form of dignity in any way. Every child has the right to dignity and must be protected from physical abuse, mental injury. What if that matching on that guy's head gives him a mental injury? Inhuman or degrading treatment. I'm talking of Section 11. That child was treated inhumanly in every way possible. Let's move to Section 14 because I can go on and on. Section 14 speaks to right to survival and development, which means that children must be protected from any situation that threatens their physical or emotional development. It's not about what happened. Have we thought about how that child will cope even after this when he goes back to classes? Let's move to Section 15. Right to education, which is why the child is in that school in the first place. Schools must provide safe learning environments, meaning bullying is not just indiscipline, it is a violation of the Child Rights Act. So it is not just about suspending. The school should be accountable because these children are under them. Because most times it's very easy, to push blame. That is why we don't have accountability in Nigeria. Most times we just push it because it is these children. Are you saying that child was not screaming? I know it looks like an abandoned building. Did the child not scream in any way? Is there no security within the premises? At what point does everyone live within the school premises? Because we also need to hold the school accountable. What is the duty of the school in this sense? Because schools have a legal and moral duty of care. They should protect these students from harm. They should monitor students' behavior. They should create safe reporting mechanism so that children can feel free to report, even if it is writing anonymously. And then you begin to track who is this child? What is the counseling mechanism in this school? The culture of silence around bullying is, even for adults, there is a culture of silence. I say this because I work in the gender space and I know what happens when you are violated and all of that. For adults, we are trying to break the culture of silence. So think about children. What happens to them? The fear of not being believed, the fear of rejection. Teachers sometimes dismiss, the role of these students. And I'm happy that even though standing around while this was happening, everybody should be held accountable. That way, we'll even agree to stand around to perpetrate such, because I mean, there are people
Hi, Susan. Oh, the network. Hi, Susan. Can you hear me? Hmm. All right, Susan, thank you very much for your thoughts on that. I'm sure we'll definitely get to give you room maybe a bit later to, finish up on your thoughts on this. The network is not quite friendly today too, but we appreciate all of the angles that you've come from. All right, some of the laws and policies guiding children, um, who should be held accountable, the school themselves, and other students who were just standing around watching, and saying all of the things that is happening. So, they should also be held accountable. So, we'll definitely give you a few minutes to wrap up on your thoughts much later, as we go on in the show. This is your Women Radio WFM 91.7. This is the program HerLens right here on Women Radio. And this is a program where we discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues. And today we're looking at the case of the bullying, case that was trending over the weekend. And a lot of conversations have actually gone into this because it was not a good video to see at all. And for the fact that that actually went viral, and a lot of parents gathered in that school the following day to actually shame this person, and his family had to come around, take him after he was being expelled from school. But my own is that the other people that were beating others on God, they did not expel them join. I mean, their own parents not come to carry them. I mean, that because this one in face now you show where we're for the video, and I be the main perpetrator. And as Susan said, for the rest of them, they have to be held accountable. All right, let's go on to hear from Ibina. But don't forget that you can send us WhatsApp messages to 070 317 070 317 That's the number to send in WhatsApp messages. You can also send your WhatsApp messages to the number 08155 917 917. All right, Ibina, let's get to hear from you. Your thoughts on this, what came to your mind, and how we can do better from parental to school to society itself. Now imagine say this person now tomorrow become governor or he become president. Wetin wan come happen like this by? Don't even want to reason it. Cannot to think am before you give me
You just
headache.
you just reached out, enter my mouth and pull that out.
Hmm.
Because you see, this is why we have some leaders who seem insensitive to the plights of the common man, because they don't even appreciate, they don't know it, they don't care, they don't see it as something bad. That is why you see an average politician goes about doing his thing as if nothing is going on, doesn't care about how the people feel. He doesn't do anything about their complaints. It's like, what are you even talking about? Because he doesn't even see it. And of course, he has people like him who have the same the same reasoning. So they don't see it. Having said that, you see, looking at parents, some parents are in denial that their children are bullies. They'll
Yes,
tell
that one.
you, no, my child is not a bully. My child is not, they don't agree. They will argue it from now till the kingdom comes. And then, what I've seen also is that, admitting that can feel like a reflection of their parenting, So what they do is they minimize it to kids are just being kids, or they even blame others. They blame other people except the child that is a bully. So, and also, if you go to some families, some parents do not know how to discipline constructively or even guide behavior in a healthy way. There are ways you discipline your child that you are actually training this child to become a bully. Now, two children had issues, and one now beat the other. And the one that was beating, maybe an adult came in and then separated everything and then settled the quarrel. Okay, gave this one biscuit, gave this one sweet. Okay, don't fight again. Oh. And this child goes home, tells the parent and everything. And the next thing the parent is doing is the parent is beating up this child. Beat up this child, black and blue. And you wonder why. This child was just being bullied by a friend, and now you are beating. As they are beating, they are talking. Are you, especially the father? Are you truly my child? Are you really my child? How could you have that person to beat you up like this? Was there no stone there to break his head? Was there no kiniko to do this? You know, when you are doing this to a child, it is an aspect of training the child to. There are other ways to handle this. You can reach out to the child's parents and discuss it. You can reach out to community leaders and discuss this. You can go to the school and discuss it and leave a warning. But not by beating. You know, when you beat up a child because the child tried to be reasonable and was not trying to be, you know, as irresponsible as the other child that was beating him up, because of the anger, the pain, the frustration a parent, you know, displays in handling the matter, you mess up this child's, you know, mental reasoning by telling this child, look, you don't take it easy. When somebody wants to kill, in fact, you are the one that will attack first. When you go on like this, you are raising a bully that will end up bullying even you as a parent. This is why you see some children, they grow up, their father cannot talk to them, their mother cannot talk to them, nobody can talk to them. And if you talk to them, they give you a slap. I was in a place where a mother was trying to scold her daughter, a grown-up daughter, a daughter that is above 20 years. And I was almost like, you girl, calm down for your mother now. You know what the girl said? The girl said, ma, don't mind my mother. She's behaving as if she's better. My mother slapped her mother. She slapped her mother. When she had an argument with her mother, she slapped her mother and pushed her mother. I was taken aback. I was shocked. That which kind level we can't do so? Now I take idea, excuse myself. You don't always slap mama. Make you no come go slap me. Say what it concern me for this matter. So you see, we in different ways, ignorantly or deliberately, we raise bullies. And then parents are always busy sometimes. And also, like Esther mentioned, there are some children that their behavior at home is so very warm. They are so well behaved, but go and check them in school. They misbehave. They are like the shadow of their real self, or they are like the opposite of what they display at home.
Sure.
So many things, factor of the, some factors affecting the child, also the child's environment, the people you live with. Sometimes you have gone to work, your neighbors, most of the adults in your neighborhood are bullies. And these children watch them bully other people. And they are learning. Children are very impressionable. What they see over time will almost become part of their lifestyle. So what are your children exposed to? Are your children exposed to harsh discipline? In some families, when a father drives in, everybody will take cover. And daddy is back, everybody. If you are reading, you fling your book somewhere, you run to, that kind of a thing. Nobody wants to quickly go and welcome daddy. And daddy feels that, yes, I'm a no-nonsense father, so my children will fear me and all of that. At the end of the day, one day you grow old and weak, and then they will return back to you in good measures. So there are so many mistakes from parents, so many, impressions that is being created in the mind of a child from adults in the environment like that. But let's go back to the school. Going back to the school, I mean, as a school,
Yeah.
do you even have a rule book? Because, I mean, the issue of bullying is all out there. And we have had stories about bullying. You mentioned Sylvester Romani. Sylvester Romani of blessed memory did not attend one mushroom school. The school the boy attended, the school fees was not less than 2-3 million.
Uh-huh.
So it's not a school for the lean pockets. So why would other schools not take a cue that You don't wait till it happens in your school. Once you are hearing stories like this, if you are a school owner and you are a responsible school owner, you begin to have meetings with your administrator and generally the school management, that what is going on. I hope this cannot happen in my school. I hope my school will not be called out one day that this is happening. This. And you sensitize everybody so that they can become more observant in the school. You don't wait till it happens. And, also, do you have a school rule book? There should be a rule book that must contain the school rules. When you go to a school, every school has its own school song. Like me, I can still recite my primary school song. I can't remember the nursery, but the primary school song, I can recite, and maybe the primary and nursery are the same thing. I don't know. Maybe we had different. I don't know. Then the secondary school song, I still remember. And I can still sing it. So you see, you don't sing a school song without having been taught the school song. Maybe you were taught while you were at the assembly or in your class, or there's a book that has the school songs written along with the national anthem and all of that, like they did in my own school. So when you have a school song that these children must learn, and they must sing each time they come to school at the assembly, why can't you have a school rule book and put in there the consequences of bullying and other things like exam malpractices and so on and so forth? We cannot be lazy as school owners. We cannot be lazy as parents. And even the PTA, what is PTA about?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
About show of wealth, especially in these schools. I've been to many schools. You see, when they want to introduce the PTA chairman, hey, come and see ceremony. And in my mind, I'm like,
On top PTA shower.
I
Away.
was in a school, and the way the school administrator introduced the PTA chairman to me, I was like, oh, I hope I said some things that, jolted the man. I said some things. I will not mention them on air here. I said, because as a school, as a PTA chairman, you are as well a custodian of good behavior in this school. Because when a school has issues, I haven't called out the school management. We are looking at the school PTA and the chairman too. So I hope that you are properly advising parents. I hope that you people don't sweep things under the carpet. I said some things to him, and he was just looking at me like, I said, who you be now? If you are a school PTA chairman, it's a responsibility, a huge one, that must bring positivity to that school. You must impact that school in a way that when you're no longer the PTA, those who will step into the shoes will meet a good structure on ground that they must follow. As a school, you must not handle issues of bullying with levity. Even if the parents are the major financiers of that school, I bet they keep their money for their pockets. This is another problem with schools. The child is Chief Lagbaja's son. Okay. They begin to stutter. They don't know what to do. Rather than facing the bully, they want to call on the parents of the child being bullied. They want to plead. And if pleading does not work, they want to harass and create a scene and even lie, paint a picture of that child. This is bad, because the evil you sow today, it will blossom. When it
It's real.
blossoms, it will envelop you and squeeze you like all these trees with thorns. You cannot sow a negative seed and think you will reap positive fruits. It is not possible. So majorly, some of these schools, they are aware of bullying, but because the children involved are the children of whatever they term them high and mighty, they don't know how to handle it. But I tell you, whether you are high or mighty, or you are low and you are nothing, everybody has a responsibility to obey the laws of the land. And like Susan rightly reeled out, there are rights apportioned to children. And that right did not distinguish between children that, okay, you are from a poor family, so these rights, you don't have it. Okay, you are from a rich family, all of these rights, you have it. It is not so. Justice is blindfolded. It doesn't see your status. So sometimes parents will just move on. But until some schools enter the trap of parents who are no-nonsense parents, who are ready to go to court, who are ready to drag the parents of the bullying child and the school, maybe they will learn a lesson. Until the state begins to take action, a proper commensurate action on schools where they feel that because a parent is like this or like that, then they can have their ways. We can't have that. We cannot have that because nobody knows tomorrow.
No.
This child will become a bully in future and he will find his way because there is money, and we play money politics in Nigeria. There is money for bags of rice and beans and share t-shirts.
That's all.
So at the end of the day, this child grows up and becomes a bully, and he goes to become a governor. And then he begins to make life unbearable for people. And of course, a bully will always attract his type, his kinds. He would surround himself with smaller bullies who will go about bullying everybody in the society. We can't have this because it will eventually affect you. There will be policies that do not have human face. There will be policies that will squeeze you dry later in your businesses because you have allowed a bully to become a leader. So please, I know that there are tendencies in some children, even without the support of their parents, to bully other children, but parents should live up to their responsibilities. Stop abdicating your responsibilities. Live up to your responsibilities, and then discussion. I'm back to parents now. What kind of discussion goes on around children? Imagine a father saying, I won't take that. This man must be dealt with. Does he know who I am? Who are you? Who are you? Are you more than 6 feet into the ground? Are you more than that? If there's a fatal accident, can you fight accident? Can you fight injury? Want to be injured? Who are you? Are you as big as God? People should learn to be mindful of the kind of conversation they have around their children. Because children listen. I've seen a child that said that, I wish my father is like, he mentioned a person's name. Nobody can talk to me anyhow in my school. If my father was also a so person, nobody can talk to me anyhow in my school. I mean, children are highly, highly impressionable.
All right.
Whatever you see, they pick. Please, parents, schools, do not sweep the act of bullying under the carpet, irrespective of the social status of the parents. Please, 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 and please. Governors should not take it easy with schools where bullying has become the order of the day. If that school needs to be closed, and close it down. Please. We have laws guiding us. We're not in jungles, and we're not barbarians. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibinabo. We're not in a jungle, we're not barbarians. I like how you ended that. All right, so our time is fast spent, but Susan, I just want to give you a minute or two to complete your thoughts, because earlier network no agree you talk, but let's see if we can hear your concluding thoughts on this, and then we call it a day.
Thank you, Rose. Let me leave my camera. Let me leave my camera this way so that I'll see if the network will be a bit stable. I talked of solutions because yes, there's a problem, and now we're looking at solutions. I talked about, an anonymous reporting system. I am talking about, structural reforms in our schools. What are they speaking at the PTA? Do they have peer support clubs? I also think that our teachers need training on child protection. It's not enough to have this law. Do they have the training to know what it is all about? And then for the government, can we begin to enforce the Child Rights Act? can we strengthen school inspection systems? Because our inspection systems are dying down by the day, and also to integrate child protection into education policy as it were, because it's very, very important. It should not be in isolation. Why do I say this? Because every child deserves to go to school without fear. And schools must be places where children should learn. They should learn knowledge, they should learn empathy, they should learn respect, and more importantly, every child should learn humanity. Because for me, bullying is not discipline. Bullying is not our culture, and bullying is violence. And violence against a child is a violation of their rights, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Susan. Thank you to Ibinabo and of course Buki too for all of your thoughts on this. All right, Ibinabo, our time is fast spent. Just less than a minute, please.
Thank you so very much. There's something we are trying to introduce to schools, and some schools are already, you know, they're already applying it in their system and all of that. You see, children are little and they can catch any information from anywhere. So there's something that we are, telling schools to do. Especially, it even became very prominent when Sylvester Moromoni died then. And it is about recitation. It's about recitation, that every school should have a recitation every morning. Coin it out in your own simple ways in your schools about bullying, about cheating, about stealing. Coin it out in a way your children, the pupils or students will understand it, and recite it. Let it be there. Let it be there. And also there has to be a desk where you can report a bully. Even if the child being bullied does not have the audacity to go and report, let those who have seen a bully another pupil make that report. And you must protect that child and then investigate this. Some schools are already doing it, so I bet that they would never call out that school for bullying or any of this nonsense. But some other schools are busy making money. It's about money. I spent 100 million, 500 million to establish this school, and I must make this money back in 1 year. So which parents were needing in this school? That's what matters. It doesn't work like that. School is not a business that you build in the morning and in the later in a few hours you are making your money back. It is a long-term business thing. It's a long-term profit thing. It's not an immediate profit thing. So we have to be careful. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ibinabo. This is where we'll end it for today. I just hope that from parents to teachers to schools, we know what to do. We know how to go about it, because it's getting too much, one too many. I just hope that we get to a better place and we're not scared of releasing our children to go into schools. You go pay that kind plenty money like this, and then at the end of the day, you see what you're picking up on the face. Kilo day. Abeg, let's know what we're doing. And it cuts across from home training to schools, to society itself. Let's know how we can, bring down all of these cases of bullying. All right, so this will wrap it up for today. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of the program today. Thank you to each and every one of you who tuned in to listen to the program this morning. Do want to join us again tomorrow at 9:05, just after the news. We'll be back here to take you through with the program HerLens. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. A very big thank you to those in the studio for giving us a seamless production this morning. Do well to have a great day, but stay with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Coming up at 10 is Radio Doctor with Olufumi Layo. Good morning.
Women Radio 91.7, the Ugandan radio station for women and their families.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816 480 7613.
Nigeria, a nation of many languages and many tribes, we will stand together live together, and grow together. United we stand, united we thrive. This message is brought to you by Women Radio WFM 91.7 FM.
HB 1349 is a House Bill number 1349. HB 1349 is reserved seat for women in the Senate, House of Representatives, and state assemblies. HB 1349, when passed, will make our democracy stronger. Appeal to your senators and House of Rep members to vote for HB 1349 for a better Nigeria. If you love Nigeria, support HB 1349 by sharing this message, brought to you by Women Radio 91.7 FM. The connect you with other women traders, entrepreneurs, students, homemakers, farmers, 36 states of Nigeria. As a Women Radio member, your business is promoted free on Women Radio. Win amazing goodies and you get access to our events. Download the Women Radio app today and hear your voice on radio. Register free at WFM917.com and make sure you join the Facebook Women Radio membership group. The Women Radio membership is supported and Nigeria Media Innovation Program, NAMI.
His Royal Majesty, Kábíyèsí Aláyélúwà Ọba Dr. Kehinde Gbadewole Olúgbénlé FNIVS